Hi, welcome. Welcome to Mars Middle School. My name is Mrs. Rose, and I am the counselor here for both 7th and 8th grade. I decided to put a little presentation together for those students who were maybe unable to attend orientation or anybody new who moves to the district, so you can have a little insight into our middle school. To get started, our principal's name is Mr. Coulson, and Mr. Coulson has a building motto, let's say, and it's high expectations, everyone, every day. We have very high standards here at the middle school for our teachers as well as for our students, because we want this to be the best possible learning environment possible. And the only way that can happen is if everybody is working to the best of their ability. The other way this happens is with responsibility, and we expect everybody, including our students, to be responsible for themselves, for their learning, and for their behavior. We are a middle school, we're not an elementary school, so definitely the bar is going to be raised as far as behavior and learning and advocating for yourself. And that can be tricky at times, and we understand that. And part of our role is to help students learn how to move into the next step beyond elementary school, into middle school, then on to high school. We do have an attendance policy, and we do have a dress code policy, and we do have a discipline policy. And these are things that Mr. Coulson will go into further whenever we do our summer orientation. But you can find information right now in our course selection manual, which is located on the Mars Guidance Counseling website. And I'll tell you a little bit more about those things as we go along. Each student is issued a Chromebook. You are welcome to use your own Chromebook if you would like. But again, this falls into responsibility and being respectful of your property. Even if it's the school property, it's your property and your peers' property. And we expect students to take care of all of the equipment that they use within the building, especially the Chromebooks. There is a fee that you can pay that will help defer costs. It's kind of like an insurance. If your computer has issues or breaks, that you can pay to kind of help cover that. Cell phones are permitted at the middle school, but really there's no reason that you would need it. Teachers are not going to use the cell phones, especially since we have the Chromebooks. The cell phones are supposed to be off during the day. We ask parents not to email or text their students, and we ask students not to text their parents. If you need to get in touch with your student parents, all you have to do is contact me or the front office, and we will get any message that you need to the student. Students, if you need to talk to your parents, all you need to do is the same thing. Come see me or go to the front office, and we will let you call home. The cell phones are a huge distraction whenever parents and students are texting back and forth, and it's just better if we don't do that. We expect high expectations on our peer interactions. If you're struggling, if somebody's not being kind or respectful, we encourage you to please let us know. We will address it. We cannot address it, though, if we don't know about it. You don't have to be friends with everyone. You don't even have to like everyone, but you do have to show a level of respect, because we are in this school together. And nobody wants to get up in the morning and have to dread coming to school because somebody's being mean or nasty to them. And we do our very best to address that so that doesn't happen. In case you don't know, our doors open at 7:15. That's when the buses let all the students off. And if you are getting driven to school, we ask that you please be here by 7:30. Our homeroom period is 30 minutes, and that's a long time for students. It helps them get settled in the morning. If they need to go to breakfast, they can go to breakfast. If you were unable to do your homework the night before, then you can go to your teacher and get some help. If you have a test, it's a nice way to review. So we ask you to please be here at 7:30. The first bell rings at 7:30 for students to go to homeroom. 8 o'clock is whenever first period starts. And then 2:17 is the end of the day bell, which is wonderful. It's much earlier probably than a lot of you are used to, but I think you're going to like it a lot. You will have 3 minutes in between each class. Each class is about 40 minutes long. You have 9 different periods during the day. You will see when you get your schedule, language arts is going to be 2 periods. And that double block is because 1 period is to be used for grammar and 1 period is to be used for reading. So when you get your schedule and you see 2 language arts, don't be confused. It's not a mistake. That's how it's supposed to be. We run on a 6-day rotation. A lot of the students do not remember what number day it is, but they go by odd or even. And the biggest class that has the biggest impact on is our PE and our computer class. You will have gym every day or every other day on, say, odd or even, and then the opposite day you will have computers. So if you have PE on odd days, you will need to bring your gym clothes, you will need to change, and then on even days, then you would have your computer class. Gym, basically shorts, t-shirt, sweatpants, sweatshirt. If you're wearing shorts, of course, they have to be the appropriate length. We are located right beside the athletic field, so it's really nice because if the weather is good, teachers will take students out and have gym class outside. So if you wake up in the morning and you notice that it's a little chilly, throw in a sweatshirt, throw in some sweatpants, because there's a real good chance you could be going outside. Lunch is 30 minutes long. You can sit anywhere that you want. And if you can purchase lunch or you can pack a lunch. We have also, if you don't purchase the lunch, we have some extra snacks and things that you're able to purchase. You can either bring money in, you could bring a check in, or your parents can log on to myschoolbucks.com and put money on your account. Okay. We do have electives, which is the first time you kind of have electives where you get to make a little bit of a choice on what class you want. And that's our band, orchestra, and chorus. So if you're a music person, you're able to do band, you're able to do orchestra. And if you like to sing, they would love to have you in chorus. The other thing that we have is something called an arts rotation. And an arts rotation, what that means is each 9 weeks, you will rotate through a different class. 9 weeks is family consumer science, which is cooking and sewing and some basic day-to-day living skills. We have programming, we have art, and we have tech ed. And in the tech ed class, you will design things on the computer and actually go back into a manufacturing portion of the classroom and create. So that is pretty much how the schedules run. If you need more information about courses or course descriptions, you can go to the course selection manual. If you go on the website for Mars Middle School, under the guidance tab, you will see it says course selection manual. And in there are a description of all the classes, the content that's taught. You will also notice that there are prerequisites for classes like the maths and the language arts. This is the first time where students' prior performance will dictate which class they will be enrolled in. Teachers will also look at the CDTs, which is a classroom diagnostic test. Students take these tests 4 times a year, and it is a way for them to monitor how the students are progressing through the curriculum. Okay, so check out the course selection manual. There's a lot of information in there. We do have activities here at the middle school. Every other Thursday is an activity day. Activities usually start around October. Students sign up for whichever activities they would like to participate in. And if they don't sign up for an activity, they get a study hall. So I really strongly encourage you guys to get involved. It's a great way to hang out with your friends. It's a great way to meet new friends because you're participating in a program or an activity with people who like similar things. We have intramurals, we have art club, we have Learn to Draw with Bob Ross, we have a dot-to-dot club, we have math counts, and there's also some teachers who offer tutoring. So there's a lot that can be productively completed during these activities. So please sign up for them. For the first time, students are able to play for the middle school and actually play for the school. We follow WPIAL rules. If you have any questions about that, you can find this also in the course selection manual. You can also visit the athletic office. There is an online form that you need to complete, physical. There is a fee. And once your student signs up for a sport, they get put into the random selected drug testing. All right. We talked a little bit about attendance and tardies. It's extremely important that your child comes to school. Students will fall behind, and that's not something we want them to do. We'll get into this again a few slides from now, but my biggest thing is please make sure you're coming to school. Dress code is in the course selection manual. We also have something here called 80-20% grading. What this means is 80% of your grade is a way for you to demonstrate that you have mastered the material. So it might be a quiz, it might be a test, it could be a project. These things are 80% of your grade. Things such as in-class work, homework, participation, those things are considered soft grades or 20% of your grade. If you do not do your homework now, you do not like to do your homework, guess what? If you continue to not do your homework here at the middle school, it will adversely affect your grade. Even if you score all A's on your tests, there's a huge possibility that you would be dropped to a C because you haven't completed your homework. So let's start the year out right, fill out those planners that we give you, and do your homework. For those of you that might want to try band, chorus, or orchestra, there is a 10-day drop period. So when the school year starts, you can have 10 days to try it out. If it's not something that you like, have your parents bring me a note and we will switch it to a study hall. Once you sign up for band, chorus, or orchestra and those 10 days pass, you are staying in band, chorus, or orchestra because it's an ensemble thing and they need you and you're an important part of that. So after the 10 days, there's no dropping. Hopefully you won't have to visit any of this when you're at the middle school, but we do have a discipline policy. We have something called a timeout room. If you are disrupting in class, if you're giving the teacher a hard time, if you're just misbehaving, you may be sent to the timeout room. There's a teacher in there. And while you are in there, you're going to kind of complete a form that explains what got you there, how you're going to fix the situation, and how you're going to make it better. So once that happens, it can be moved to Mr. Colson. He uses a progressive type of discipline model, whereas the first time is detention, the next time could be in-school suspension, and then out-of-school suspension. So please be aware, this falls back into being responsible for yourself, being responsible for your behavior. This is the course selection sheet. If you came to orientation, your son or daughter should have brought this home. If you are newly registering for the district, you should receive this upon registering. You will see at the top, you are to check whether or not you want band, chorus, or orchestra, or if you're going to do the arts rotation. Then beneath there are the core classes, and you will see that the prerequisites are there. That is what you needed in the previous school year to meet the requirements for that class. The reason we do this is we want students to be successful. We don't want them to be in a class where they struggle, where they hate it. We want them to be right where they're supposed to be so that they're prepared to move on to high school. Back to band, chorus, and orchestra and arts rotation. If you did choose to do a music class, just one, you will still have the arts rotation. What you're losing is the study hall. If you choose to do band and chorus and orchestra, you will lose the arts rotation and the study hall. So it's very important for you to think about that whenever you're deciding what you would like to do. The other thing that I would like to call attention to is that you are expected to practice. Parents, you are expected to sign a weekly log of what they practiced at home. And lastly, there's a lesson once a week. With the lesson once a week, you will be missing class. Those lessons are on a rotating schedule, so you're not missing the same class every week. So this week you might miss math. Next week you might miss art. The next week you might miss study hall. The next week you might miss science. We do that so that, again, not one student is missing every single class every single week. Lessons and the parent log are your grade. So if you don't do those things, you're not going to do well in band. Okay. School supplies. So I have prepared a school supply list. Students will also get a locker. You do not need to purchase any locks. We will give you a locker for the hall lockers if your student needs it. Most of the kids choose not to use the locker. They find it too cumbersome. We will give you a PE lock if you would like. But basically we need backpack, pencils, binders. Some classes need divider tabs. Some classes need a calculator. What you're going to notice on the supply list is each teacher has written what they require. At the bottom is a system that I have found this year to work extremely well, especially if your son or daughter can't find things. They have papers everywhere. They're not organized. I've had about 6 or 8 students who are sort of my testers, and the system that I've put in place, they all have succeeded. Grades have all gone up. So be sure when you check the school supply list that your son or daughter brought home. If they didn't bring it home, it is on the website as well. Please check that, and then you decide. You know your son, you know your daughter, you know how organized they are, and you can implement whichever system you want. The colors there are to help with organization. If you don't want to follow that, that's fine. Just make sure that you have everything on that supply list. So I went to the teachers and said, you know, what are some things you want me to include in this presentation? One of the biggest things is coming to class prepared. And what that means is homework is done every night. You have pencils. Your laptop is with you. And not only is it with you, but it's charged. That you have your binders or your notes or whatever it is that you need for class. So that is probably one of the biggest things, is making sure that you have everything that you could possibly need for class. You are free to go to your locker throughout the day. However, if you have it all there, that won't be necessary. Another thing, teachers want me to stress, using homeroom time. It's very important for you to come see them if you need help and to ask questions. Do not struggle. If you go early on when you start to struggle, then we have more time to get things fixed before the 9 weeks ends. Not a whole lot we can do if we are at week 7 out of 9. It's just too much time's passed. Again, we use Schoology here, and that can be accessed via the laptop or the Chromebook. Parents, you do have an access that login information. And if your child tells you they can't log in, they don't know what they're logging in, not true. They log into Schoology all the time, because what's on Schoology is the teacher's web pages, and every teacher posts the week's work on their web page. Schoology also provides a large calendar, a whole monthly calendar, and every day, whatever the teacher has put on their webpage is put in this calendar. So your son or daughter should know every day what homework they need to do. And there is a way you can color code it so that all of math is one color, all of science. So we have a lot of things in place to help your son or daughter be organized and successful here at school. On Schoology as well, there are practice tests, there are pre-tests that your son or daughter can use to help prepare for any exam or quiz coming up. The textbooks are also there. As I said before, we do provide you with a planner. So your son or daughter should be filling out that planner. I tell them sometimes Sunday night, get on, or Monday night, get on and fill it out for the whole week, especially if you have sports or other activities, dance, art classes, whatever, that you need to plan ahead when you're going to do your studying and your homework. So that's Schoology. Skyward is strictly a place where you go and monitor grades, okay? I've already gone over the 80-20% with the homework. I just mentioned the importance of filling out the planner and using the Schoology calendar. Homework is due the next day. Papers and projects have deadlines. Teachers are very firm about that. Some will give you half credit if it's turned in late, and some will say, no, a deadline is a deadline, and we need to learn how to work and meet deadlines. You should expect a minimum of 1 hour of homework a night. There will always be math. There is usually science or vocabulary for science and social studies. And so you cannot get it done in study hall. So parents, if your son or daughter is coming home and saying they do not have homework, they are not telling you the truth, okay? Because they more than likely will have math, science, social studies. Language arts, since it is the double period, a lot of times those teachers do not give homework. They won't have homework in computers. They won't have homework and arts rotation. They will have their band lessons and their music to practice. So please be aware they should be doing homework. And if they say they don't have it, make them go study or go review their notes for the day. This is probably one of the biggest things that I hear. My son or my daughter experiences anxiety. They get very worried. They get very nervous. Everybody, and I mean everybody, is going to be nervous those first few days of school. Everybody is new to the building. Everybody is trying to figure things out, where they're going. And we are very, very aware of that. The only thing that helps the most is to come. Teachers will be in the hall. Teachers will help. If you ever have a question or you're confused, then you need to come see me. Change is scary. Change is difficult. Going from 2 teachers to 9 teachers to going wherever you want. I mean, kind of think of it like this. Those students in Centennial are kind of kept together like a herd, and they go to classes together. Now they're up here at the middle school, and I'm probably going to age myself when I say this, but think of them as like jacks or like marbles that you just throw. Now they're like this, and they're everywhere. So they're going to try to find how to group together, how to find where they fit. And that's the whole part of the change with the social, the emotional. And so if you don't come to school, you won't be a part of that connecting again. And then when you do come back, it's like having another first day of school, and we don't want that. So please, sometimes we have to learn to push through the discomfort. We have to push through it. Go to the adults who are here. We are here to help you push through it and make things easier. If you don't communicate with us where the problems or the issues are, we can't problem solve and come up with a plan to make it better. We don't want you to miss school. We don't want you to miss instruction. We don't want you to fall behind. Okay. This is another thing. So I kind of make a joke of it, but this is another area we need to push through. Everybody's tired. Everybody's going to be tired getting up that early, especially if clocks change and it gets to be dark out, and it's dark when we get here and dark when we leave. You know, stuffy noses, upset stomachs, cramps, these things like, oh, I hurt my elbow over the weekend. Can I go home? We want you here in school. Now, with that being said, if you are truly, truly sick, like sick, turning green sick, can't lift my head off the pillow sick, please stay home, because we don't want everybody else to get sick. But sometimes we have to learn to push through being sick, and a little discomfort. And the nurse is here. She is here to help. And this is probably one of the biggest points I want to make on this slide is, if your son or daughter is sick in school, do not have them text you to come get them and then show up at the nurse. That is not acceptable. Okay. If your son or daughter is ill in school, they need to see the nurse. She needs to do an assessment and check on them and see what's going on. And then if she feels that they need to come home, she will certainly call you to come and get them. And again, if your son or daughter feels that they need to speak with you, she will let you talk to them. Please do not come get your students because they text you. Only come get them if you hear from me or the nurse or the front office or the principal. Okay. That is so very important, because if your son or daughter is sick and we're unaware, we cannot help them. That's the biggest word, help. We are here to help you be successful. There are going to be so many new things, new computers, new computer programs, new textbooks. You're going to have new friends. The friendships that you had at Centennial more than likely are going to change. The people you thought you would be besties with, because you're not in class together every day, you may separate. You may go in different directions, and that's okay. Or you're still friends, but your friend has made new friends. That's okay. And when you're trying to figure out all of this stuff, how you're going to handle your extracurriculars, with your schoolwork, with being tired and not feeling good, you need to let us know, because we are here to help you. That is what we are here to do, and help you learn how to go from the elementary school to the high school. Because believe it or not, in 2 short years, that's all we have, is this little bit of time that you see below to teach you all of these skills so that you're prepared for high school. I know it sounds scary. I know it sounds worrisome, but you are going to love it here. Very few kids ever say, I'm not happy here. Now, are friends sometimes jerks? Absolutely. Does that sometimes cause distress? Absolutely. But that is part of that whole system I was telling you about, of figuring out who I am, where do I fit in? But we have so many wonderful things that go on here. For the first time, you're going to have brand new classes. You've not ever really had a full science class or a full social studies class, and now you're going to have that. And that might be a little bit of a challenge because it's something you've never had before, and that's okay. Working through those challenges, falling down, that's what builds skills. That's what builds self-confidence. And you're going to hear me say, I don't want your parents coming in and making it easy for you, because that's how you grow and that's how you develop, and you're going to make mistakes. There's absolutely no doubt about it. That's how you grow, and you grow in confidence, you grow in self-esteem, because the next time that problem comes up, you say, oh, I've done this before and I was successful and I know how to get through it. But again, you are going to have so many cool things to try, so many new things to do. We have sports, we have dances, we have geography B, we have math counts, we have computer class. You now have new music, just so much new. And I really think you're going to love it here. And we're here to help you and have fun. Now, we do have some dates to remember. In the summer, we do an orientation, and you will get information on this. And from 9 to 12, students are able, you will have your schedule, you are able to come and walk the building. If you want to do it 55 times, do it 55 times. But you will have your schedule, you will be able to walk it, you will be able to figure out where you're going. We also have a parent orientation in the evening from 6 to 7. And I encourage students to come too. It's not going to be the same stuff. It's going to be more, what's the day-to-day of middle school going to be like? And then after that orientation from 7 to 8, you're again welcome to walk the building. Sometimes I have kids come during the day with one parent, and then at night they proudly show off how they can remember where they go. So that is the first orientation. The first day of school, we also have orientation, and it's broken down into 4 groups. And then we have a fall curriculum night. And it's usually around the middle to end of September. And I strongly encourage any first-time parents to the middle school to attend this. The information you receive is where teachers post things, what are classroom expectations, how do I find homework, all of those questions that you as parents, how do I access Schoology, how do I find their stuff on there, is all explained at that curriculum night. So I really encourage all parents to attend. Few things from the nurse, and you see she had me put in here, students are not to text or call parents when they are sick. Go to the nurse, and parents and students shouldn't be texting throughout the day because the phones are off, right? Students need a dental exam. Those forms can be found on the Mars School District website under the resources of nursing. Students are to have the below 2 immunizations. And the other thing, which was the same as Centennial, any medication that needs taken at school should be in the original bottle, and you need to have a doctor's script, even for Advil or Tylenol, anything even over the counter. If you want your son or daughter to take it in school, it needs to be in the original bottle, and it needs to have a doctor's note. Please do not send pills in plastic bags in your child's backpack, okay? Well, I think that is where we're going to stop, because that's the end of my presentation. I hope you have found this part helpful. I will, as I said, see everybody in August. The best way to reach me between now and then, if you need to, is via email. Since I am the only counselor here, if I have students in my office, then I tend to them first, and emails are always easiest. So my email is T as in Tom, Rose like the flower. So trose@marsk12.org. I look forward to meeting all of you. I look forward to working with all of you. And I hope you have a fabulous summer, and we will see you in the fall. All right. Thank you.